I must sound like like some sort of entrepreneur in this era with my little magazine, and I tried to make them as well. I got the Graphic Adventure Creator at one point rather than Quill, and I came close. I can't remember why I never finished it. It was a decent game I was making. I obviously had ambitions, financial ambitions, but there was a regular feature in, I think it was Sinclair User, where people would send in a list of all the adventures they'd completed, and you'd send a stamped addressed envelope or a postal order or whatever it was, and people would solve your problems for you. And I called myself the Perambulin Goblin, which is obviously, I probably thought I meant to say perambulating and got it wrong, or I just maybe quite like the way it conjured up that hobbity image. And a list of video games a list of adventure games that I'd solved, and you had to send me 20 pence in an envelope with a stamped addressed envelope, and I would send back a solution by return of post. And at boarding school, letters are quite a big deal. So it was my home address in the magazine, but my mum would then forward them all up to school in a kind of early jiffy bag, which, you know, not millions, but say 4 or 5. And I remember getting them at breakfast at boarding school and opening up and thinking, yep, I'll be able to do it. And 20p straight down the tuck shop. It's a nice little bit of business. And bizarrely, I Googled it the other day for no reason whatsoever. I just thought, I remembered Perambulin Goblin. I don't know where it came from. And I thought, I wonder what will happen if I stick that into Google, because it can't be, one of those words is invented by me. So it's unlikely that there's going to be and there was literally 2 hits, including a PDF of the actual page with my old address, with my mum and dad's old house address on it, and send it in here, and it was quite a moment. It was like a woo. Of course, no one was remotely interested. I was going to call one of my daughters in to go, look at this, and she's like, what? What? Sorry, 20? What? You did what? I just couldn't explain it for love. Well, there's these games, and you had to type it in, usually with just a verb and a noun. Could you imagine trying to explain that to a 16-year-old who's got, more technology in her phone than you'd have in your entire school when you were that age? And so, no one shared my sense of magic and wonder about that. But I like to think that somebody somewhere had their holidays massively improved by the attentions of the Perambulin Goblin. I remember getting one letter from South Africa, and it said something like, I enclose a 20 pence coin from my coin collection. Because why would a South African kid have a 20 pence piece? Please help me get out of the bloody jungle, or so I'll get out of the dungeon, and things like that. So I can't remember how much or how long it lasted for, but that shows how seriously I took it, and how many I must have done as well, how many I must have finished.